Hello, dear students. Welcome to our English language. I'm your teacher, Жарқынбек Д.Қ. Let's start our lesson. Our new theme is Coco Chanel's personal life, an entry into fashion, and grammar, modal verbs, must, can, may. Now, look at our plan. Learn new vocabulary, watch a video and listen to information about Coco Chanel's personal life and entry into fashion. Explain grammar, modal verbs, must, can, may. Do exercises, answer the questions. So, start with new vocabulary. Repeat after me. Designer, designer, fashion, мода, clothing store, магазин одежды, entrepreneur, предприниматель, create, создавать, recognizable, узнаваемый, showrooms, выставочные залы, sew, шить, change, изменять, performances, выступления. And now, you're watching a video from a native speaker about Coco Chanel's personal life and entry into fashion.
Once upon a time, there lived a little girl who hid her humble origins all her life and preferred to invent her own legend. Once upon a time, Gabrielle Chanel was born under the sign of the Leo to a traveling peddler and a laundress who died at 32, exhausted by life. Once upon a time, there was a father who abandoned his 5 children and had his 3 daughters sent away to an orphanage. At 12 years old, Gabrielle would never see him again. Forever after, she pretended that he had left to make his way in America. Once upon a time, there was an orphanage behind the walls of a convent, the Abbey of Aubazine, where Gabrielle spent nearly 7 years. The Romanesque purity of this ascetic world would inspire her sense of austerity and her taste for black and white, while the opulence of religious garments and ceremonial objects would spark her fascination with Baroque style, gold and colored gems in years to come. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful young girl who spent her days sewing and her nights singing in a cabaret before troops of cavalrymen. She was called Coco because she often sang, "Who's seen Coco in the Trocadero?" She always preferred to pretend that Coco was the nickname given to her by her father. Once upon a time, a young woman with a boyish allure refused to ride side saddle on the horses of a well-born cavalier, Etienne Balzan. She dressed like no one else, taking her inspiration from masculine attire and inventing new styles of hat, which she stripped off their birds and feathers to make them simpler, lighter, more chic. Her first clients were working girls, but society quickly followed. Once upon a time, there was a great love named Boy Capel. English, wealthy, and cultivated, he was the man of her dreams. He introduced her to literature, the Orient, and the esoteric. Boy helped Coco become Chanel. She decided to open her first boutiques in Paris, Deauville, and Biarritz. She wanted to work to win her liberty. Once upon a time, a revolution came to pass when, in a stroke of genius, Coco Chanel transformed the female silhouette. She shortened dresses, revealed ankles, freed the waist, eliminated corsets, revived jersey, cut her hair and bronzed her skin. Chanel closed one era and launched a new century of fashion. Once upon a time, at 31 Rue Cambon, Mademoiselle Chanel opened her first couture house in Paris in 1918. The little country girl, the orphan of Aubazine, had become the queen of Paris. Before liberating women, she had liberated herself. Once upon a time, there was a love story that ended abruptly. Boy Capel died in a car accident. For the first and last time, Coco Chanel was seen to cry. "Either I die as well," she said, "or I finish what we started together." She chose to go on.
Guys, watching videos from a native speaker develops your listening skills. So, our new next theme on grammar is modal verbs, must, can, may. First modal verbs, it's must or have to. We use to expressing obligation. Must переводится как должен. И мы используем этот модальный глагол, когда обязаны что-то сделать. For example, I must go to work. Я должен идти на работу. Second modal verbs, it's can or could. We use to expressing ability. Can переводится как мочь, могу, умею. Если вы что-то умеете сделать, вы обязательно должны добавить этот модальный глагол. For example, he can drive a car. Он умеет водить машину. Third modal verbs, it's may or might. We use to ask permission. Переводится may как могу ли я, можно ли. Когда просите разрешения, вы используете этот модальный глагол. For example, may I use your pen? Можно я возьму вашу ручку? Next, it's exercises. Exercise number 1. Use modal auxiliary verbs can, may, must in positive or negative forms. I'll give you some time to think on this exercise. Checking time exercise number 1. First, can. Second, may or can. Third, must. Fourth, must. Fifth, may. Exercise number 2. Choose the correct modal verbs of deduction for each gap below. I'll give you some time to think on exercise number 2. Checking time exercise number 2. First, might be drinking. Second, might be or may be. 2 correct answers. Third, must be. Fourth, must be confusing. Fifth, might not be. Next, we have reflection. You must continue these sentences. I didn't know that. I found out that. I'd like to know more about. I'll give you some time to think. Home tasks. Answer the questions. First, who was Coco Chanel? Second, what was Coco Chanel inspired by? Third, which little black item of women's wardrobe Coco Chanel proclaimed obligatory? First, which legendary female accessory did Coco Chanel invent? Fifth, when and how we use modal verbs. It's time to finish our lesson. Today we learn new information about Coco Chanel and we learn how to use the modal verbs. Our lesson is over. Thanks for your attention. I wish you good luck. Bye.